What is up, fellow ladies and gentlemen? Anyway, we're here to talk about Manchester United once again. Manchester United versus Wolverhampton takes place tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. A Saturday game. I'm excited. You know, just football's all coming together now. It's going to be a whole bunch of football from now on till at least January. And then there's going to be a break before the Champions League comes back. Oh, yes. Okay, so last time out, first of all, before we get into it, if you do enjoy, drop a like and subscribe, comment if you have anything you want to say. And, yeah, let's get into it. So, last time out, Manchester United beat Young Boys in Switzerland 3-0 with goals from Paul Pogba. Couple goals from Paul Pogba and one from Anthony Martial. It was a great game to watch. As a Manchester United fan, the first few minutes were edgy, but Manchester United picked it up and sorted it out, and it was just a good, solid performance. I'm excited. I'm very, very happy. We have 3 wins on the trot now, and let's just hope that we can keep it up. I'm not expecting us to go on and start smashing teams 12-0. That was stupid. But I just want us to be consistent and to keep going. You know, I don't want us to just short circuit and then, you know, lose to Wolves at home. God forbid that happens. But yeah, as you see, there's 4 wins in the last 6 there. That's so beautiful. Anyway, let's talk a bit about the squad, and then we'll do the lineups, and then we'll talk about Wolves. You know how it goes. Or you should anyway. Whatever. So Marcus Rashford and Matic are suspended. I believe Rashford will miss this game and the Derby game, which is you know, annoying, but whatever. At least he got to play in the Champions League. Yeah, and Matic will be back for Derby if Mourinho chooses to pick him or select him, I should say. As for injuries, Rojo and Herrera are still out. Herrera is closer to full fitness than Rojo, according to MU, Manchester United. Yeah, and that's pretty much the top and bottom of it. Phil Jones is okay to play. Honestly, I didn't even really take note of the fact that he was out. That's sad, I guess, because, you know, he doesn't even know my injury list. I don't want to sound harsh, but I just don't really care, if I'm going to be honest, because he's decent, but, you know, he doesn't play that often because he's injured a lot, and, you know, to a fault of his own in a sense because of the way he plays, but also, you know, it's kind of unfair to him, but I just think he's kind of surplus to requirements, and it's sad, but that's how I feel personally. And I don't genuinely think he's a better defender than anyone at the club, the central defender. I think he's just about as good as Lindelof now in terms of defending. Lindelof still a bit shaky at times, but, you know, Lindelof plays more than him, and he on the ball, he's a better player than Phil Jones. So, sorry, Phil. You know, I think you could definitely do a job at Everton, at Leicester, at West Ham, who could definitely use Phil Jones right now. But, you know, it is what it is. Anyway, let's talk about the lineups. Let's move on to the lineups. Okay. Should I tell you? No, I'll tell you. I'll show you the lineups, and then I got a little bit of tidbits of information. So I've gone with David Net, obviously. Shaw, Smalling, Bailly, and Valencia. Now, I've gone with Bailly not because I hate Lindelof, just simply because I think we need stronger defensive prowess, and I think Bailly offers that. Although it would be nice to have someone good on the ball in defense. I just feel like Raul Jimenez might try to target Lindelof, and I don't think you can necessarily target Bailly because Bailly is a beast in his own right. So yeah, that's the partnership I've gone with. And in midfield, I went with Fred sitting behind Pogba and Fellaini. Now I know Fellaini's been playing the 6 recently. However, I just think Wolves don't play with the ball on the ground. They really don't play with the ball on the ground. So I don't really see any true reason why Fellaini should be holding. I think we could definitely use him to target Wolves' defense and to kind of, or maybe just outmuscle them and, you know, just, what's the word for that, I guess? Bully them. Yes, that's the one. So yeah, Fred sitting in behind them too, and kind of just picking up the ball from the defense and making a solid pass to Pogba or to one of the fullbacks. That's the idea. And the front three I going with is Alexis, sorry, Lukaku and Lingard. I think that's more or less what we're gonna see, especially with Rashford's suspension. No Matic, that's why I've gone with that midfield. However, I would not be surprised to see Scott McTominay. Mourinho loves McTominay, and with Herrera out injured, I think McTominay might be the guy he brings in to do the man marking job on the Ruben Neves, maybe João Moutinho, but I definitely wouldn't be surprised to see McTominay pick up Ruben Neves in this game. And last but not least, honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing Ashley Young playing on the wing, the right wing, preferably. I like Lingard, but he, much like Mata, cuts inside a lot, and that's not really a problem because he adds to the game. His movement is great, but we need someone to play out wide, and Ashley Young's delivery is a bonus. So I wouldn't mind seeing Ashley Young play out wide. However, the chances of that happening are very slim. So, that's more or less how I would like to see things go. Or, yeah, that's like I said before, these lineups are what I would like to see more than a prediction, But yeah, let's talk about Wolverhampton, who sit ninth in the Premier League after a decent start. To be fair to them, they've drawn 1-1 with Manchester City, which is a great result. They caught my eye last season when they drew 0-0 with City in the League Cup and lost on pens. They went 120 minutes without conceding a goal against what many people would consider England's best team. And what they really are. They are the champions of England. And Wolves went 120 minutes without conceding, and then they drew to them in 90 minutes a couple weeks ago. Excuse me. Yeah, but they're a solid team with solid players and a good coach, a very, very good coach, and they play some decent football. To be fair to them, I've put there as their top performers Doherty, Patricio, and Neves, amongst many. So far I've liked what I've seen of João Moutinho, but really the heart and soul of that team is Ruben Neves. He, to me, is a mix of like a Carrick, but he doesn't read the game as well, but that'll come. He's only 19, 20 years old. I think he's 20 years old. And his passing is great. It's great. He hits the ball from outside the box like no one. If you catch him on the half volley, that's dangerous. He'll punish you. He's capable of punishing you, I should say. And then Patricio, who I mentioned earlier to a friend, to me is kind of like the Portuguese Dave, if I'm going to be honest. He's not great on the ball, but he can deliver. He can get the ball out with his feet. His reflexes are great. And honestly, he had a great Euro. That's kind of, for me, where he established himself as one of the best in the world. He was always the best in the Portuguese league for quite some time. But he's a solid goalkeeper. And how he's at Wolves, I know what happened with Sporting and their club, but the whole thing that Wolves got going on with Jorge Mendes, I believe his name is massive. And, they're going in the right direction. So fair play to him. They got injuries in the likes of Ivan Caballero, who I've been a fan of since he was at Monaco. But now he's at Wolves, but he's been out since the end of last season in the Championship. He had an injury, and he hasn't come back since. And that's just another wide player that's dangerous for them to have. So, not mad he's out. Not mad at all. They got a solid team. And before I move on to my score prediction, I forgot to mention Lukaku, Pogba, and Fellaini as our top performers, I believe. Did I? I don't think I did. But obviously Pogba scored a couple goals, and prior to that, he's been since he arrived, he's been the center of everything great at Manchester United on the football field. Honestly, apart from obviously Mourinho, we just aren't the same team without Pogba. And you could say that obviously for every player. You're not the same team without one player. But Pogba is just, when he's on and popping, as the Americans say, is not many better than him. There's not many better than him. I think it was Ian Wright or Craig Bellamy on Sky Sports say that De Bruyne and Hazard are the best players in the Premier League. But I don't think there's a player in the Premier League that is better at more well-rounded than Paul Pogba. And that's why, and people can say I'm biased, and you can if you want. That voice crack was wild. But truth be told, Kevin De Bruyne, undoubtedly the best passer in the league. That's what people say. It's not a question. Hazard, great ball control, and is one of the best at creating chances for himself. Not a doubt about it. And a great penalty taker. But Paul Pogba is now establishing himself as a good penalty taker, even though, the run up really gets to pundits and it frustrates them. But, he's taking penalties. He's a great passer of the ball. Obviously not better than De Bruyne, but I just think obviously that more leans to the fact that De Bruyne passes, or the system he plays in, simple as. He's a better defender than the both of them. He can head the ball with good accuracy. And he's just better. He just really, realistically, apart from De Gea is probably the best player in his position in the Premier League, but Paul Pogba is the best all-round player in the Premier League, in my opinion. Obviously, he's not in the best of form. Actually, you probably could say he's in better form than De Bruyne and De Bruyne's injured. And Hazard did score a hat-trick, fair play to him. But he's not a better all-round player than Paul Pogba. And I think the difference, before I move on, and I know I'm kind of dragging this out, but before I move on, the difference between the two is Paul Pogba fights for everything to go through him. Not like it's not everyone's first intention, and I think that's just a system to pass the ball to Pogba, whereas everyone knows City's team, De Bruyne gets the ball first, then David Silva, or you could look at it vice versa, but more or less things run through David Silva and De Bruyne. Hazard gets the ball all the time. It's not a question. Paul Pogba is not always first choice, and that's just a problem that needs to be sorted out by coaching. Anyway, my score prediction. I am going to go with 3-1 Manchester United. It could be 2-1, it could be close, but I think we have to ride on this high horse that we're on right now and keep going. Not be afraid to cross the ball in the box. I mean, you saw what the dangers Delo added when he was just putting the ball in and not afraid to. That's what we got to do. That's what we got to do. Especially, we got Fellaini. And if we play the way I suggested with Fred sitting behind Fellaini, get Fellaini in the box, man. Get him in the box. Let him do his thing. Lingard will come back and sit in the midfield. But let's bully him. Let's take it to him. Yeah. And hopefully Martial comes off the bench because he looked very bright in the second half against Young Boys. And I'm looking forward to what he's got to offer when he gets his opportunities. So, yeah. And before I'm out of here, the last time we played Wolves, we beat them 5-0 at Old Trafford. Completely different team, completely different structure. This was 2012 before they were relegated to the Championship. I wouldn't mind a repeat of that. Yeah, but that about does it for me. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Please subscribe. That's cool. But yeah, thanks for watching. It's been your boy Day. It's been Man United Talks. I am out of here. Deuces.